Do you often feel lonely or left out after turning 60? You're not alone. In this video, we'll share 5 simple daily habits that can help you lift your mood, improve your emotions, and feel more joyful, even with just small changes. From starting your morning the right way, reconnecting with yourself, to meaningful small actions, you'll notice a real difference just days after applying them. Direct hit: this video is for those who feel empty, sad, or forgotten, lack motivation after retirement, want to rediscover joy and purpose in everyday life. Speech balloon: share your thoughts in the comments. We're always here to listen. Thumbs up: don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to get more inspiring content made especially for those over 60. Glowing star: happiness doesn't have an age. It only takes one small step to begin. Have you ever had one of those mornings where the silence feels a little too loud? Maybe you wake up, make your usual cup of tea or coffee, and realize there's no one to talk to. The phone doesn't ring like it used to. The house feels a little emptier. And even though nothing's technically wrong, there's this weight in your chest. A dull heaviness. A feeling that something's missing. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. In fact, loneliness after 60 is one of the most common, and often unspoken, challenges people face. It doesn't matter if you're married or single, living alone or with family. That quiet ache of feeling left out, forgotten, or just invisible, it can creep up on anyone. And if we're not careful, it turns into something much bigger, like depression, anxiety, or even health problems. But here's the good news. You don't have to accept that as your new normal. You don't have to wait for someone else to come along and change it. Because the truth is, there are small things, simple habits, you can start doing every single day that can completely shift the way you feel. Habits that help you reconnect, recharge, and feel alive again. So today, I want to share with you 5 simple daily habits that can instantly lift your mood, even if you've been feeling down, isolated, or stuck in a rut. These are things you can do on your own, right from where you are. No big changes. No complicated routines. Just small, intentional actions that can make a world of difference. Let's start with something incredibly powerful, yet often overlooked. Getting outside every single day. Now, I know that might sound basic. You might even be thinking, but I already go out to the garden, or I take a walk now and then. But this isn't just about moving your legs. It's about consciously stepping into the world, feeling the sun on your skin, hearing the birds, watching the clouds move overhead. Even just 10 or 15 minutes outside each day can lift your spirits in ways that are hard to describe. There's actually a reason behind it. When sunlight hits your skin, your body produces vitamin D, a nutrient that's directly tied to mood and brain function. At the same time, being outdoors lowers your stress hormones and increases something called serotonin, which is your brain's natural feel-good chemical. And here's what's even better. Being outside increases your chances of casual interaction. You might wave to a neighbor, chat with a mail carrier, or just see other people walking by. These small social moments may seem meaningless, but they help your brain feel connected. They remind you that you're still part of the world, still seen, still here. So whether it's sitting on a bench, watering your plants, or walking around the block, commit to getting outside every day. Not because you have to, but because your soul needs that light, that breath of fresh air, that quiet proof that life is still happening all around you. Now let's talk about something a little different: morning rituals. Not routines. Rituals. There's a difference. A routine is something we do without thinking. Brushing teeth, making breakfast, checking the news. But a ritual is something done with intention. It's a moment of meaning that says, this time is for me. And for people over 60, who may no longer have the structure of work or kids to care for, these rituals become even more important. They help anchor the day. They give a sense of rhythm and purpose. And most importantly, they offer emotional nourishment. Your morning ritual doesn't have to be anything fancy. Could be lighting a candle and journaling for 5 minutes. Could be making your coffee slowly, with full attention, and enjoying it by the window while listening to soft music. Could be stretching, praying, reading something uplifting, or even just standing outside with your eyes closed, breathing in deeply. The point is, you start the day with intention, not autopilot. You give yourself something to look forward to. And that, believe it or not, can dramatically shift your mood for the rest of the day. When people feel lonely, one of the first things that disappears is that sense of meaning. Everything feels gray, repetitive, dull. But when you have a daily ritual that brings you even a small spark of joy or peace, it gives your brain something to hold on to. A reason to get up. A little island of comfort in the middle of the unknown. And here's something you might find interesting. People who engage in daily morning rituals often report feeling more emotionally stable, even when their lives are full of uncertainty. Why? Because they're not waiting for the outside world to give them peace. They're creating it every single day on their own terms. So ask yourself, what small moment of peace or pleasure can I create each morning just for me? Not because it's productive, not because someone expects it, but because you deserve to feel grounded, even when life feels unsteady. We've talked about stepping outside and creating a morning ritual. These might sound simple, but they're powerful. Because they both do something essential, they anchor you to the present. And when you're feeling lonely, that's exactly what your brain needs. Not to run away, not to replay old regrets or fears, but to come back to the now. To the breath. To the light. To something real. Now that we've planted those seeds, little moments of light at the start of your day, let's take that momentum and move into another habit that can completely shift your emotional landscape. And that next habit is something surprisingly simple, yet deeply healing. Starting meaningful conversations, even if it's just one a day. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but who am I supposed to talk to? Maybe the phone doesn't ring like it used to. Maybe friends have moved away, or the kids are always busy, or worse. Some of the people you used to talk to just aren't here anymore. And that's real. That kind of silence? It gets into your bones. But here's the thing. Conversation doesn't always have to be long, deep, or with someone you know well. Even a quick chat with the cashier at the grocery store, or a friendly hello to your neighbor walking their dog, can give your brain a jolt of connection. There's science behind this. Researchers have found that even casual social interactions, what they call weak ties, have a powerful impact on mood. Just exchanging a few kind words with someone, even a stranger, can reduce feelings of loneliness and increase feelings of belonging. So if reaching out to old friends feels hard right now, or if you're not sure where to start, just aim for one small connection a day. It could be a compliment to someone at the market, a text to a grandchild, a short phone call to an old coworker just to say, "Hey, I was thinking about you." And if you're nervous about starting the conversation, here's a little tip. Ask a question. Something simple like, "How's your week going?" Or, "What's been keeping you busy lately?" People love to be asked about their lives. It shows you care. And more often than not, they'll respond warmly. You don't have to talk for hours. You don't have to fix anyone's problems. You just have to reach out. Because sometimes that one message or call you send, it might be exactly what the other person needed too. And here's the beauty of it. The more you do it, the easier it gets. That wall of silence that once felt so heavy, it starts to crack. Light gets in. And bit by bit, those small conversations begin to build a sense of connection that can lift your mood and calm your heart. Now let's shift gears a little. We've talked about the outside world, stepping into the sun, creating rituals, starting conversations. But what about your inner world? What about the thoughts that play on repeat in your mind when no one else is around? That brings us to the fourth habit, retraining your thoughts through daily gratitude. I know gratitude is a word that gets thrown around a lot. But this isn't about pretending everything's perfect or ignoring pain. This is about gently teaching your brain to notice what's still good, even on the hard days. Because here's what most people don't realize. The human brain is wired to focus on problems. It's called the negativity bias. It's why we remember that one hurtful comment from 10 years ago more than the 10 compliments we got yesterday. It's survival programming. But it doesn't have to control you. One of the simplest and most effective ways to shift this pattern is through a daily gratitude practice. And it doesn't take much. Just 3 things. Every day, either in the morning or before bed, write down or say out loud 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big or profound. It can be as simple as, the tea I drank this morning was warm and calming. Or, I heard birds outside my window and it made me smile. Or my legs worked today. I was able to walk to the kitchen. The key is consistency. Because when you do this daily, you slowly train your brain to scan your environment for what's working instead of what's missing. And over time, that creates a quieter, calmer mind. A more peaceful heart. What's truly powerful is that gratitude doesn't erase loneliness. It transforms it. It teaches you to hold both truths at once. Yes, I miss someone deeply. And yes, there are still beautiful moments in my day. It's not toxic positivity. It's emotional strength. And it's a gift you can give yourself, again and again, no matter what's happening around you. And now, after all this inner work, the stepping outside, the rituals, the conversations, the gratitude, there's one more habit. One that brings it all together and helps you reconnect with something even deeper. But before we go there, take a second to check in with yourself. Just pause. Notice how you're breathing right now. Is it fast? Shallow? Tight in the chest? Or are your shoulders a little more relaxed? Your heart a bit more open? Sometimes, when we listen with intention, something starts to shift even before we realize it. The fog lifts, if only slightly. And suddenly, what once felt too heavy feels a little lighter. That's the power of simple habits done with care. They don't erase life's challenges, but they do help you carry them better. Let's keep that energy going. We've planted seeds of connection, peace, and gratitude. Now it's time to nourish something even deeper. And the final habit that brings everything together is one many of us forget as we get older. Doing something creative with your hands every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Now, you might be thinking, I'm not an artist, or I've never been good at those crafty things. But let me tell you a secret. Creativity isn't about making something perfect. It's about expression. It's about movement. It's about giving your mind a break from the loop of lonely thoughts, and letting your hands lead the way. When you're focused on something small and creative, like knitting a few rows, arranging fresh flowers in a vase, doodling in the margins of a notebook, or even organizing old family photos, you slip into a different mental space. It's almost like meditation, but you're doing something physical at the same time. That gentle rhythm of your hands, it calms the nervous system. It tells your brain, we're safe. We're okay. And it doesn't have to be fancy. You can keep a little coloring book and some pencils on the table. You can write a few lines of a poem you'll never show anyone. You can try a new recipe just for the fun of it. You can even take apart a broken clock just to see how it works. The point isn't the result. The point is the process, the act of creating, exploring, building, or playing. This habit is especially powerful because it connects you with your own aliveness. It reminds you that you're not just here to sit and wait for the phone to ring or the days to pass. You're still someone who can make something out of nothing. That spark? It's still in you. And here's something beautiful that often happens when you commit to small daily creativity. It pulls other people in. A neighbor drops by and sees your drawing on the table and says, "Hey, did you do that?" You post a photo of your soup on Facebook and someone comments, "Can you share the recipe?" These little ripples of connection, born from your quiet moment of creativity, start to reach others. And suddenly, the world feels less distant, less cold. One woman I spoke with recently, a 72-year-old widow, told me that after her husband passed, the silence in the house became unbearable. For months, she barely left the couch. But one day, she found an old sewing kit in the closet. She hadn't used it in years, but something told her to open it. She started mending a shirt, just to pass the time. Then she made a pillow. Then a quilt. Fast forward a year later, and she now makes handmade gifts for local nursing homes. Something she says gave her life new meaning. That's the power of creativity. It starts small, but it can lead you somewhere bigger than you ever imagined. Now, take a moment with me and let's breathe that in. Picture yourself doing something with your hands tomorrow. Maybe you're planting a flower, even just one. Maybe you're flipping through an old book and underlining the quotes that still speak to you. Maybe you're writing a short letter to someone you love, even if you don't send it. Just the act of creating something, a meal, a note, a memory, it grounds you. It gives shape to your day. And it gives color to your emotions, even the hard ones. So if you've ever had a day where it felt like the walls were closing in, try using your hands to open a new door. Now, before we wrap up, let's take a quiet step back and look at the path we've just walked together. You've learned that a few minutes in the morning sun can do more for your mood than hours scrolling through the news. That a simple ritual, lighting a candle, making your tea, playing a favorite song, can shift your mindset from empty to peaceful. That a short conversation with someone, even a stranger, can remind you that you're still connected to the world. That noticing small blessings, warm socks, a kind memory, a good laugh, can soften even the loneliest moments. And that using your hands, creating something from within, can reconnect you with the feeling of being alive. These aren't just habits, they're anchors, they're lifelines, and most importantly, they're choices. Small, gentle choices you can make each day to remind yourself, I matter. I'm not forgotten. I still have something beautiful to give. Loneliness after 60 is real. It's something so many of us go through, but often suffer in silence. And I want you to know, you are not alone in feeling this way. But there are ways to gently walk yourself out of that darkness, one habit, one moment, one breath at a time. You don't have to change your whole life overnight. Just start with one thing. Open the curtains a little earlier. Say hello to the person next to you in line. Pick up that old journal, even if the first page feels hard to fill. Because small steps, taken consistently, become strong habits. And strong habits create lasting change. Not just in your day, but in how you feel about life itself. If this video gave you even one idea to try, or reminded you of a habit you've let go of, I hope you'll take it to heart. And if you feel up to it, share with me in the comments. What's one thing you'll try this week to lift your mood? Your story might inspire someone else who's feeling the same way right now. Don't forget to give this video a like if it helped you in any way. It lets us know to make more content like this. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next conversation. We're building a community here of people who believe it's never too late to live fully and feel deeply connected. Until next time, remember this: loneliness may visit, but it doesn't have to stay. And every single day, you have the power to change the way you feel, one kind habit at a time. Here's to feeling more joy, more peace, and more meaning, no matter your age.